来自加拿大的 Indie Pop 乐团 Valley 在6月的时候2度来台，他们其中一首歌曲 Like 1999在 TikTok 上面爆红，受到了一些心灵上的冲击。那我们这一次我们就来访问 Valley， 看看他们这一次来台湾有什么样的感受吧。
My name's Jon, so welcome to Taiwan. Your latest album, Water the Flowers, Pray for a Garden, which has been described as your most personal album yet, right? And it's a culmination of lessons learned throughout your life, kind of thing, over the years. And it is also more free and vulnerable, as described previously. Can you share what those lessons might be?
Yeah, so many lessons. I think coming out of the season before that album, we were just feeling a need to kind of go back to, speaking of Garden, I think we just wanted to go back to like the roots of what the band was, which the roots of the band are really just kind of like making songs with no expectations and just getting in a room and playing instruments together again and kind of getting the music making. Even though we make everything on a laptop, it's like trying to get everything out of the laptop and into the room first and then inputting it versus the other way around. Everything kind of used to just like start on the laptop. So yeah, it was really just about like, being our most honest, being the most vulnerable, trying to just find a freedom again of just like making something because we want to make it and not because like someone's expecting it, like getting the audience away and out of the room, just like making things for the sake of making things, I think was probably the most valuable lesson that we're like carrying with us.
And like the writing process, recording process was kind of unique, that you were locked away in a cabin on top of a mountain.
Yeah.
Right. Looking back, are there anything you would change or do differently, like, or would you do it again?
Honestly, I don't think we would change anything. I think the reason why the album is what it is because we made it in a very concise time. It was like a time capsule. We went away on February 1st. We had an album at the end of February, and we just put the paintbrush down. And I think, if anything, we're continuing to work like that, is trying to give ourselves like that deadlines and timelines a little bit, because I think that does actually inspire you more sometimes. Sometimes it's good to not have a timeline. I think when like in a free flow like writing zone, it's good, but once you want to make an album, I think it's nice to have an end date because it forces you to like turn your brain on and really just like every day, like cherish every day and trying to like make it the best it could be. So
right, okay, yeah, because like different bands with different musicians kind of work differently, so
yeah,
that way works for you.
I think so. It might change now we're kind of taking our time again, so I don't know.
Yeah, because like maybe some people want to take the time and like, I want to perfect the song.
Yeah, that could be a really long winding road. You got to be careful. Sometimes it's good, but sometimes you got to know when to put the paintbrush down, or you'll be painting forever.
Sure, because like otherwise it might be a never-ending process.
Exactly, yeah.
And like you this way you just kind of set the time, so it's like, okay, this is it.
Yeah, I'm
gonna make it as good as it can be in this time frame.
Yeah, for sure.
And then like the band kind of went viral because of the song like 1999 on TikTok, right? And then you experienced like a sudden burst of fame and everything. And then you mentioned that you had to go through counseling and all that, so how are you managing everything? Feeling better?
Oh yeah, better than it was for sure. I think we're still navigating the changing industry we're in, and I think every artist is kind of just struggling right now of like, okay, how do I feed the people that have been there from the beginning in the most honest and authentic way? Because I think we went through a phase of people treating all that stuff a little bit too disposable. And I think, I personally just don't agree with it. I just don't like the idea that even like TikTok is a disposable thing, because if we're gonna lean into it and we're gonna make it amazing, then lean into it and make it amazing, because it's still a platform with a lot of people. So just still do it honestly and have integrity with it, because I think that's a channel to make something meaningful still. And I think that what stressed us out is it became too much of a slot machine. It became too like, nothing matters, we can just kind of do whatever on there. And it's like, okay, but it's still a platform with millions of people that you could potentially reach in a really authentic and real way. So that's been the challenge still, just like, okay, how do we find our people and create a subculture that's meaningful? Because all these platforms, there's the opportunity to still like do something meaningful. It doesn't just have to be like this chase for like this like moment, because we felt it and it was awesome for like a second, and then it like kind of really was not that fun anymore. Like it really took the sun out of the room. So yeah, I think we're just navigating and learning every day, like how to just like be meaningful in the kind of the industry we're in. And at the end of the day, we have to market our music, but I think the greatest of all time find a way to do it in a way where it's like, it's just believable. And if it could be believable and you bear the fruit of something taking off and going viral, then you're in a really cool position because you didn't expect it. It just kind of happened.
Right. Okay. So like our channel, aside from like, reporting about music, news and all that, our YouTube channel is actually very like gear nerd.
Oh, cool.
Centric.
Love that.
What kind of gear do you use? Guitar, drums?
Well, it depends on in the studio or live.
Hey, that's what I was gonna get into.
Okay.
Yeah, but okay, I'll put it this way. Mainly live then.
Live, okay.
Yeah, because like studio, you might use something that you're not like used to,
Right.
just like for the sake
This
of
is
the
true.
song.
I do have things that
live.
we're out of the comfort zone.
Live is about like consistency because you're touring so much and you want just the gear to work and you want the sounds to be as close as possible, but you also just want, we're waking up at 3 a.m. and flying somewhere to a new country every day. You just need things that are going to be dependable. And we've gotten pretty good at recreating everything from the studio. So I play a lot of like Fender Mustangs, specifically Japanese ones, like crafted in Japan ones. They feel really good. And they kind of feel like kids' guitars, like they're kind of like in between expensive and not. So they just feel really good in my hands. And then you're a Fender guy too with bass.
Fender Precision basses, yeah. I have a deluxe one with like a preamp in it that I use. And they're very dependable and they're rock solid, honestly. Like it's just the only instrument I feel like the most comfortable with live, and it'd be hard for something there have been some new developments in the personal bass world. I mean, we were in the studio and I've never really liked Hofner basses for the feel, but apparently they're all very different, and I picked one up and recorded half a new record with it. So Kara.
I play Yamaha.
Okay.
Big Yamaha.
Yamaha only.
Right. Cymbals?
Cymbals. I play Sabian.
Sabian.
I can't say that I play anything else because I don't want to lose my endorsements. And ProMark and Evans heads.
Yeah.
Well, I guess, live is all that matters in terms of like endorsement, I guess, because it's kind of a common secret that in the studio, like people just use whatever the producer says.
Well, it's whatever just like feels and sounds best in the room, In the studio, we're very high and low. Like I'm a big believer in like, it can't be all expensive and vintage gear. I like the idea of like using like a cheap $100 sampler Casio keyboard, but a really expensive mic. Like I like the idea of the push and pull of cheap and expensive gear. I think that's how you get interesting sounding things, I think.
Amp-wise, pedals?
Amps in the studio, a lot of Silverface Fender. We used a little orange rock verb, like a tiny like practice amp a lot recently. It just sounded really cool. A lot of just like Neve Pre cranked to 100, like a lot of console stuff. And then live we use quad Cortexes because we have models of all the vintage amps we use. So again, for flying, I could have a Jazz Chorus, a Silverface Fender. I can have like any amp I want at a click of a button, which just works for us. I'm not saying it's for everybody.
And I'm still rocking a Helix.
And you're rocking a Helix, yeah.
But you know what? The Helixes for bass are very, very good, very dependable, very...
They're great with low end.
Really good with low end. And we have everything MIDI sunk to our playback rig. So all the changes that happen within songs or just specifically for each song, that's all automated and done by the computer. Obviously a long process to get to that point because we have to program and run the show and make sure that the timing is right on everything.
It's like a 3-year process it's been.
Yeah. But now it's like very simple, and it's really just like putting a change in at that right moment in the set, and it's like you kind of have to like MD the entire set to know when all of these changes are going to take place, and you just have to run it all. But it's great.
So, you've been all over the world pretty much. What city and what performance was the most memorable to you?
Bangkok recently was crazy.
Bangkok was cool. Tokyo was crazy.
I really liked Osaka.
Yeah.
We played a show in Osaka. It was the first show of the tour.
Japan as a whole was great.
Yeah, Japan was wild. We played 3 shows. I really liked being in Japan. I think tonight's gonna be really good.
Yeah.
Nice. And you've performed in Taiwan back in like 2023.
Yeah.
Were there any special memories, moments?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, to be honest, if you want the true answer, this time has been so much more enjoyable for us because last time we got up like at 3 in the morning, flew here on show day. We went straight from the airport to the venue, sound checked, played the show, woke up at 3 in the morning the next day and flew out. So we basically, to be honest, kind of don't remember it. Like we were very, very, very out of it. But I remember it was a great show.
Yeah.
But I think tonight we're gonna redeem ourselves because we had a nice day off, we're well rested, and we can like soak it in more. But that comes with these tours sometimes. You're just like, you forget where you are. It's just like one of those crazy travel days.
Right.
I had a fever last
And
night.
Kara had a
I
fever.
had an ice bucket by the drum kit.
Yeah.
I was dipping as many body parts as I
Yeah,
could
it
because
kind
I
of
was
feels not real.
hot, cool, and I look back at photos and like I sweat somewhat on stage, sometimes drums, but like, and we also on stage, but like that photo, I'm looking at it, I'm like, I am bleeding sweat. Like I was so sick that day, and I did not have a good time.
Ouch.
But I love Taipei, and we didn't get to explore last time, but we got to explore last
we've
night.
redeemed ourselves.
I love Taipei. I think it's
great.
Such a great city, and like, yeah, I'm so looking forward to playing shows and remembering it, and not having.
That's cool. That's cool. Anything else that you look forward to besides the show? Like that you want to do in Taipei?
Oh my gosh, we've already done a lot. We went to the night markets. We biked all the way there too. We took a YouBike and biked like 45 minutes through the city, so we saw a lot of the hustle and bustle. I would like to. There's one thing that we didn't have time to check out, but it's actually outside of the city. But there's a small town. I don't know if it's small, but there's a town about an hour from here that supposedly inspired a lot of Spirited Away.
Okay. That was a rumor.
Was it a rumor?
That was debunked. But I know what you're talking about. Joe Flynn.
Oh, is that maybe that?
Yeah.
Well, regardless if it was a rumor, I looked it up and it looked so pretty.
Yeah.
And all the lanterns. So I would love to go explore there, but maybe we'll go another time and maybe do a hike too. I'd love to do a hike here.
Okay, thank you. That about wraps
Thank
up
you
the
so much.
the
Awesome.
interview.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.